Hello and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 36 Double Agents, and this is going to be a different kind of Tiny Table Talk. We're going to be taking a look into the finals, doing a sort of a finals preview. We're going to take a look at the final four duos and what can we expect from them in the finals, and also going over some comments from my Thursday's review and recap video. So let's jump into this, starting out with Team BB, Fessy and Kaycee. When taking a look at Fessy and Kaycee, they stack up really well physically. They're both football players. They have the endurance. They have a friendship there, so they have the chemistry. He finally has a partner that he wants to run the finals with. However, my whole thought process with Fessy is that he has not been able to find a good partnership with any of the partners he's had throughout the season. And to me, it's like, okay, you complain about one partner, okay, maybe it's the daily challenge, maybe it is the partner, but if consistently you are not having good partnerships with anyone, the common denominator is you. So when things get tough in a final, which they will, what will happen? Will he take responsibility? Will he try to push and persevere through hardships, or will he just find fault with Kaycee? They were partnered up with each other for a hot minute in the season, and they did not do well in that daily challenge, and then they were split up right at the end of that episode. And taking a look at the other teams, they are significantly more inexperienced than the rest of the teams. Granted, we do have a rookie on the team, but she's with a 3-time champ in CT who has done like 18 seasons. This is each their second season, and this was a really quick turnaround from the last season that they were on, where they both made the finals as well, but they did come in last place of their each sides, where Kaycee came in second out of 2 on the finals in Total Madness. Fessy came in 4th place out of the guys in Total Madness. And so that was a quick turnaround. They're right back in this season, back into the finals, and it's almost like deja vu. We're back in a cold place. They're gonna have to run. They're gonna have to do a whole bunch of things in the snow, in the cold. Did they learn from the mistakes that they did in last season's finals to this season? I don't know. Like I said, it was a very quick turnaround. I'm worried about this team. I feel like they'll get 3rd or 4th. I put them at the bottom rung. I think Kaycee has had a stellar season. It just hasn't been with Fessy. It's been with Leroy. It's been in other partnerships than with Fessy, and Fessy just has not given me that reassurance in my brain saying that he is going to be a great partner, that he learned from the mistakes. He has the endurance coming into this final. So they're the ones that I feel could struggle the most in these finals, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Let's move on to the team I deem Real World Las Vegas, and that is Leroy and Nany. Now, from a story standpoint, this is my favorite duo. Starting out their Real World season together 10 years ago in 2011, now coming into this season, Leroy is saying how this is his final season no matter what, and now he's partnered up with somebody from his original Real World cast, and they're both in the finals looking for their first ever challenge wins, and if they could get the win together, I can't script a better ending to the season in my opinion. However, they're not very balanced. Like, one's strengths aren't the other one's weaknesses. I think both have a very strong endurance. They definitely have the chemistry and the friendship. The cons is that they're not the strongest in math or puzzles. Now, we saw in this past episode, Escape the Volcano, Nany did really well, being second place pretty much the whole time until the final run where Leroy and Kaycee overtook her in the final stretch. But in the math portion, she was actually second place the whole time, right behind Kam. She did fantastic. So I think that her math skills are good enough to help Leroy and her make it far within the finals. Also, we saw her do really well in the one final that she was in, which was in Free Agents, where she took second place behind Laurel. In all of her duos, she was either the support or she helped step up to be the equal and to help out as much as she could. And I think that only benefits with Leroy and her partnership. So I really do think that they do stand a good chance. I just don't think they're as balanced as, say, Cory and Kam, who I will be getting to momentarily. When looking at Smuggle Run, very impressive, where Leroy came in 5th place, where he was partnered up with Kaycee, and Nany came in 4th place when she was paired up with Josh. Survive the Night, Leroy's strength is his eating, where Nany wasn't eating as much. To me, I feel like Leroy and Nany have a lot of potential, and I am rooting so hard for them to pull out this win. I think it would be so sweet to see Leroy not only go off into the sunset, into challenge retirement with a win, but to do that with someone from his real world season where it all began on MTV in Nany. That would be the best ending that I could conjure up to the end of the season. But it also kind of gives me worry because I think of, say, CT and DM in Battle of the X's when they were starting to click towards the end of that season. They made it to the finals. They were both looking for their first challenge wins, and they just could not get that win. They got 2nd place. So I'm hoping that Leroy and Nany could really push this out, really put on a clinic in these finals, and possibly get this win. But they're going to have to deal with the next 2 teams that I'm going to be talking about, and especially the next team that I feel like is really well balanced, and that is Kam and Cory. Kam and Cory coming into this final is the longest running duo, as they've ran 2 daily challenges with each other, whereas nobody else has really been partnered up with each other for a long period of time. So that bodes well for them, especially since in the 1 daily challenge with the skydiving, they came in 2nd place, which they came in 1st in their heat. They came in 2nd place overall behind Leroy and Kaycee. And then you mix that with getting 1st place in Escape the Volcano this past daily challenge, where Cory was able to just be like, yo, I'm gonna take a back seat. Kam, you can do all the math and do all the puzzle work, which we saw, and they really worked well together. I think this duo is the most balanced out of all the duos out there, and I think that they also genuinely like each other, which also adds to their chemistry. When we take a look at Smuggle Run, Cory came in 2nd place with Ashley, almost getting 1st place. Kam came in 3rd place when she was paired up with Kyle. They have the endurance, they have the strength, and Cory is a great supportive competitor and player when he is in a duo, knowing his strengths and weaknesses, knowing when to let go of the reins. Cory and Kam are just so complementary to each other, and to me, they're my favorites coming into this final to win. But there's one more team we have to talk about, and that is CT and Amber. Coming into these finals, CT is a 3-time champ, and he's the only champ on the roster, but he has to come in with a newly partnership, so it's going to be a huge question mark on how him and Amber are going to work together. We saw Amber working well with Darrell, her working with a well-decorated, well-seasoned veteran in Darrell this whole season, for majority of this season, and then now having to work with CT. I think it's going to be easily transferable. We also saw a lot with CT talking to Big T, where we saw in the skydiving daily challenge, he was like, I could have gotten the puzzle really quickly if you would have ran. We saw a confessional in last episode saying that Amber was like, he's gonna have to keep up with me. I can run for days. But I think with Amber being a rookie, she would let CT just do his thing, knowing that he's a 3-time champ, knowing he has the experience. He's played 18 seasons, and her coming in as a rookie, I think the more seasons that Amber is going to do, she'll feel that confidence and she'll keep stepping up as a competitor. But I think as a rookie, and being a rookie heading into the finals and being with someone like CT, who is a legend, who is a 3-time champ, 18 season veteran, that she would just let him take over, and to be that supportive competitor with him in this journey, they could actually do pretty well. But as of right now, I have Cory and Kam up at the top. For one, with their experience, with their chemistry, and they've won dailies together as a duo. And knowing that Cory always wanted Kam, and Kam didn't backstab Cory at the end. When she could have done it and kept her word to Kyle, she decided to keep with Cory. So to me, heading into these finals, I think the most balanced team is Cory and Kam. I think that they are my favorites, but you never count out a champ, and I'm going to be really pushing and pulling and rooting hard for Leroy and Nany to get that win. And I I don't know what's going to happen with Fessy and Kaycee. I just don't think that with the turnaround of the season that they're going to be able to put together a win. But we can dissect everything on paper, but once we get to the finals and see how the execution happens, it's anybody's game up to this point. Now let's get to some comments from my Thursday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from APR Aries, who says, Kyle grew on me. I'm sad to see him go. I completely agree. Coming into this season, I wasn't the biggest fan of Kyle, but as the season progressed, I've actually started to root for him. The next comment comes from Wrestling Fanatic, who says, now that Kyle ended up having a medical DQ, does Double Agents now hold the record for most DQs in a season? It actually held the record for the most DQs in one season, or the most people leaving outside of eliminations, with 6 when Nam left because of his back injury. Now with Kyle leaving, it actually surpassed its own record with 7. The next comment comes from Bryson, who says, there are rumors out there saying that Kam was hurt before the final because she was carrying the season on her back. Oh man, that is a great comment. The next comment comes from Becca, who says, first, I can't believe MTV rickrolled us, LOL. I can't believe that either, but man, I was dancing to it. Second, I'm just so happy Leroy and Kam are in the finals. I've been rooting for them all season and stressing every week that they might go home, so seeing them make the finals was such an amazing moment. And third, I'd feel bad for Kyle, but he's proudly backstabbed so many people in his seasons that he really shouldn't be surprised, LOL, but his finger, oof, that looked so painful. Yeah, I completely agree on all 3 of your points. I'm happy Leroy and Kam are in the finals. He's backstabbed and lied before, so I don't feel bad for him on that angle, but I do feel bad for the way he left with his finger being broken and having to be medically DQ'd from the season. You just hate to see anybody leave because of being DQ'd or medically DQ'd. The next comment comes from Michaela, who says, seeing Kam and Nany call out Fessy for being somewhat of a weak player and playing a scare game is by far the best moment of the season. Yes, I loved it. It gave me life. Also, the part where Fessy was reading his note during deliberation was definitely one of the funniest moments from this episode. From the somber music in the background to everyone's impersonation of Fessy reading the note, this episode was definitely entertaining. Yeah, I loved when Nany and Kam were just coming at Fessy, and it's just like, look, we're tired of you saying all this stuff, and you think like, oh, maybe he's just saying in the confessionals, but that just proves that he's been saying it the whole season within the house, not only in the confessionals, and now everyone's just hit that tipping point. It was just like, we're done, we're over it. G-Man says Cory hit Fessy with the same Jedi mind trick he used on Amber M. Cory's got that power of persuasion, I'm telling you. Cory Not Cory says, I still don't understand why Cory's never tried to get revenge on Fessy in any way after what happened with Nelson. Was shaking my head at seeing him give Fessy advice on getting his ideal partner to run the final against him. I really keep going back to when Cory was in the confessional saying like, I'm gonna get revenge on Fessy. And to me, I'm just like waiting. Like, why have that confessional if we're not gonna get it? And to me, maybe that's going to happen within the finals. Maybe there's like an elimination within the finals like last season. And maybe Cory's going to have a hand in throwing in Fessy against somebody and possibly get him eliminated. But instead, Cory is like rooting on Fessy in this hall brawl. And it's just like super confusing. The next comment comes from Michael, who says, Fessy, screw Amber, I'm going. I'm not leaving my fate in her hands for the daily. In parentheses, has to leave his fate entirely in Amber's hands for the daily. Yeah, I loved it. And it was such karma. It was him just looking at her going like, I'm going. Thinking that he's going to have to perform in some way. Guess what? You're chained up in the bottom of a volcano and you're now waiting for her to come get you. The next comment comes from Caitlin, who says, can we just talk about Kam making a to-go sandwich for Leroy before he left for the challenge? That was so freaking adorable. I love that moment, especially when she's like, do you want me to cut the crust off for you? And he's like, no, it's okay. He's probably one of the only competitors that were down in that volcano that ate that morning because he got a to-go sandwich. I loved it. It was so awesome and it was just so cute. George Cruise Tube says, I just realized when Kaycee showed up to the volcano and Fessy was complaining no one was listening to him. Her and Leroy were having their own combo and he was just talking to himself. He was asking about Amber the whole time, complaining about her every time somebody came down. I remember when Nany was just like, dude, it's not about you. get over it. I'm here for Kyle. And that's exactly what everybody was like. We're in the middle of this daily, dude. We don't have time to hear you complain. Hello, Jessica says, I wish Kam and Leroy would have been partnered up for the final, and nothing would motivate me more than to run beside my man and show him what a beast I am. I think that would be really awesome if they were partnered up, because I feel like they really complement each other really well. But it does give them the best odds if they're in separate duos, because now it's not just them versus everyone else. They're within 50% of the duos. So I understand. I would like to see Kam and Leroy win together, get their first challenge wins together, but it also makes sense from a strategic standpoint to be in two different duos. The next comment comes from Dominique, who says, Fessy literally makes everything about himself instead of being supportive and making it a partnership. The reason he hasn't been able to quote unquote prove himself is because of his ego, not because of his partners. Again, if in every partnership you're in is failing in some way and not winning daily challenges, guess what? You're the common denominator. So yeah, Fessy needs to take ownership and responsibility for why those partnerships didn't work out, instead of just always pointing the finger at somebody else. The next comment comes from Docs Pops Reviews, who says, Fessy reading his note reminded me of the cringe I felt when Jen did her little speech at the beginning of Total Madness last season. Granted, luckily he didn't start off by saying greetings Earthlings. The next comment comes from Val, who says, CT and Amber and Kam and Cory are looking good. The only thing Amber needs to do in the final is just run, which she is good at, and CT will do the rest, depending on how the final is. The same with Cory. He just needs to run and let Kam do the rest. Nany and Leroy worry me, and Kaycee and Fessy look great on paper. I do like your critiques on the final pairings. I do worry about the inexperience between Fessy and Kaycee still. The next comment comes from Mary, who says, also I find it weird that Kaycee wants to be with Fessy. She was already partners with him, and even she complained about him. I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember that. The next comment comes from Chasing, who says, seeing the Hall Brawl so much this season is literally like when you hear your favorite song on the radio back to back to back until you just can't stand listening to it anymore. They drove it into the ground and I'm over it. Don't we have any other exciting eliminations to choose from? Not So Fast, Balls In, Wrecking Wall, literally anything else. Yes, I think that the Hall Brawl was great when you got it once a year at the end when you're gonna get a fight because you're so close to the finals, but they did it so many times this season, and not a lot of the performances within the Hall Brawl were very exciting. Why couldn't we have had Not So Fast? That's one of my favorites. I think it's a great neutralizer because it's like a puzzle and strategy and physicality. So I really wish we would have gotten more variety within the eliminations this season. And the final comment comes from Dante, who says, Kam, Big T, Kyle, and Devin, this season wouldn't be the same without them. Period. Giant period. Yes, 100%, it wouldn't have been the same without them. But that is it for this Tiny Table Talk. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comments section below. What did you think about my breakdowns? Who is your favorite in the finals coming into these finals? Let me know that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 36 Double Agent content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.